Hi guys, it's April, and this is my wrap-up for Read-O-Rama round 9. It was a week. It was a very long week. I did a series of vlogs throughout the whole week of Read-O-Rama in which I talked about all the books that I was reading as I was reading them, so a lot of those thoughts will be contained inside of that vlog, but I figured I'd still do a wrap-up of all these books so you have one nice, neat, condensed space for all the books that I read for this round of Read-O-Rama. I didn't necessarily complete all of the challenges, as you can tell by this nice little tiny stack of books. Yes, I did read a couple of ebooks as well, but I still only completed about 5 of the challenges. And technically one of those challenges was to read 7 books, so you can't even count that as a challenge. So 4 challenges? 4 challenges, 5 books. It's a thing. It happened. So the first 2 books that I want to talk about that I finished during Read-O-Rama was Wild Magic and Wolf Speaker by Tamora Pierce. These were books that I wanted to read for my Tortall read-along. I'm currently going through and reading all of the Tortall books. I was only going to read Wild Magic, and this was going to complete my 7 books challenge because it didn't fit into any of the other challenges. But after I finished Wild Magic, I had to go into Wolf Speaker. And luckily, this one completed the Rama in the title or the author's name. So this actually did complete a challenge. So this series, before I get too far into my rambling, this series is about a young girl named Dane who seems to have this weird knack with animals. She has the ability to understand them and they understand her. She is not sure where this ability comes from, and she spends a lot of the series figuring all of that out. I was originally drawn to this series because of the whole animal aspect of the series, because I love that so very much. I really came to love Dane as a character because she starts out in one place where she's very unsure of herself, she doesn't know her place in the world, and she has lived with a lot of bigotry, and so she's trying to understand herself and the world around her. But as the series goes on, she starts to learn that there's more to everything and things aren't quite put into boxes like we all expect them to, and she has this ability to grow. She's not stuck in one mindset. She's open to learning new things, and that is why I really like the character of Dane. Now this series takes place several years after the Song of the Lioness series, so you do see some of the characters that were in that series show up in this one in different ways. They are older, they are wiser, they're still as lovable as they were. And of course you are introduced to several new characters, one of which is my all-time favorite, and that is Numair and Cloud. Both of those characters I love so very much, and then you also get dragons and the immortals that start to show up in Tortall. This is when you see all of the mythical creatures start to come into play and how all of that is going to affect the kingdom. And like I said, this is one of my favorite series in the Tortall universe. I might be a little biased in my enjoyment of them, but somehow I managed to not binge the whole series. I can't promise that's not going to happen by the end of the month. And I then read Down Among the Sticks and Bones and Beneath the Sugar Sky by Seanan and McGuire. This is part of the Every Heart a Doorway series, in which we have children who have found their way into different worlds and how that affects them and what that means when they come back. Down Among the Sticks and Bones shows the journey that Jacqueline and Jillian went on when they entered the Moors, how they became the characters that they were. When somehow they ended up in the Moors, things got a little switched around and they finally got to decide what they wanted to be. And this is their story before they ended up coming back. It starts to look into how our parents can form us and how the world can mold us into what it wants, even though we don't necessarily want to be that. And it shows both girls trying to discover who they are, and what that means. Beneath the Sugar Sky takes place immediately after Every Heart a Doorway, where we have some of the same characters from the school. We've got some new characters, and then we have some characters coming from different lands trying to find a fix for things that are going on because of the events in Every Heart a Doorway. I like this book because it has a very childlike feel, but it still deals with some very heavy topics. It deals with body image issues, it deals with gender issues, it deals with being okay with who you are no matter where you're at. That is what I like so much about this series in general, is it has a very childlike feel, but it still deals with some very, very heavy topics. I don't even know how to explain these stories because when you're first reading them, the writing almost feels childish. You get that feel of the Alice in Wonderland. You get the feel of the fairy tales written by Andersen and the Grimm brothers. But underlying that writing, you have these scenarios in which these characters have to look at who they are and what that means in a world that doesn't necessarily accept them. And I think that is why I am really drawn to this series, and I can't wait to see what number 4 brings, because I can only imagine. And last but not least, I finished To Kill a Kingdom. I have a full review over this as well. I will link it up above my head and down below if you want to check out a full detailed review of what this book is about. This is the story of Princess Lyra, who is the Siren Princess. It is also the story of Prince Elion, who has made it his mission to track down and kill all of the sirens. This is also a Little Mermaid retelling, so you can only imagine that at some point in time, these two characters are going to meet and they may have to interact with each other. It is the story of both of these characters figuring out what is best for the kingdom, what is best for themselves. It is very, very dark in places. You deal with a lot of just violent issues with Lyra and her siren nature and her mother's siren nature, but it also deals with Elion and the position that he was born into and juxtaposed against the fact that he has decided to follow a pirate's life. I really enjoyed it. There were some things that I wasn't completely happy with, like the ending. I wish it had gone a completely different direction, but overall it was something I enjoyed reading. So those are all the books I completed for Read-O-Rama. If you haven't watched the vlogs, you can see me struggle through the whole week because all of the things were going on this past week and now I'm just here. I don't know what to do with myself. Tell me down below if you have read any of these books or if you participated in Read-O-Rama and how you did, and I heart your beautiful faces. Bye.